Hey guys, I'm here today to do my June wrap-up. I can't believe it's already the end of June, and June just flew super quickly by, I think because I was at Disney and Universal for 2 weeks of it. So I really didn't read this month except for the week before I went to Disney, and I got back and I was back for like a week at the end of the month, but I haven't read like anything. I've just been watching like Netflix. So these are all the books I read the first week of June. I did read quite a few. I think I read like 10-ish books or so. So I'm excited to talk about them, and I am a little fuzzy on some of the details because it was like a month ago, but I will try to remember all of them. And they were like all from the library, so I don't have them like up to hold you, but I'm really gonna try to figure out how to like insert a picture. I'm really not sure how to do it on my like editing software, but I will try to look it up and try to insert pictures so you can see what the covers of these books look like. If not, I'm sorry, but I will try to do that. I will try to look it up. But anyway, long intro aside, let us get into the books I read this June. First I read A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I think it's Maas. And this is a sequel to the Court of Thorns and Roses book in her series, and this one was really good too. It was quite better than the first one, I thought, but I also don't like who the author is making the love interest in this book. I don't really like him, and I really like a different character, not even the main character from the first book, just one of the side characters, and I really want them to be together, but I don't think they will be, and it's just really sad because he's my favorite character and I just want them to be together. So this one is just a continuation of the first book. I liked it a lot. I gave it 4 stars. I am excited to continue with the series. Then I read 10,000 Skies Above You by Claudia Gray. Borrow that from the library, and this is the second book in her, I'm not really sure, I think it's called the Firebird series, and I'm not sure how many books it will be, but the second book is just a continuation of the first book. It's a time travel series. It's about the first book is about a family that creates this Firebird, which like can make you go back in time if you're like holding it. Main girl from the series, she is not affected by time travel. Everyone else kind of like forgets their time traveling, like forget who they are in these different worlds, but this girl is not affected by like time travel, and she can travel everywhere and like still remembers her memories and her like alternate universe of herself memories. It's pretty weird, but it's actually really entertaining. And the second book was just super good as well. She just goes through different times and places, alternate universes and such. Some are like worlds we have today but a little different, and some are completely different, and I don't know, it's just a very good series. It sucks you in, and I'm really excited for the next one. Then I read Starling Secrets of the Eternal Rose #3 by Fiona Paul. I read the first 2 books last month. That one was Venom and Belladonna, and this is the third one, Starling. A continuation with the series, that's all I'm saying, but like the first one was about Venice and a girl running away from like a murder and such in Venice, and it's just a continuation of, you know, trying to find out these murders going on. And this third one was probably like the worst one in the series just because it was not as exciting. It was just kind of a conclusion, so everything just kind of wrapped up. Kind of wrapped up like too nicely in my opinion. There was like a love triangle, and it kind of ended with the guy I wish she had ended up with the other guy. So like I wasn't too happy with the ending, but it was like also okay. Just an okay end of the series, but I would overall recommend the series. It was very good, very like edge of your seat thriller type story, and I really enjoyed it. I read Hotel Ruby by Suzanne Young. I really liked, and the reviews aren't very nice to it. They say it's like not very good and it's very boring, and in my opinion it wasn't boring. Like I was really intrigued by it. So it's about this family, and their mother dies, and it's told in the daughter's point of view, the book is. And so they're driving to, I think they're trying to get to their grandma's house because their mom passed away in the family, and they have like no good memories, you know, at that house or anything, so they're gonna go live with their grandma. And they are tired and such, and they pull up to a hotel called Hotel Ruby. Like the staff tells like ghost stories about the place, and you just see that it's kind of off, it's kind of weird. Like The hotel staff is pretty nice, but like the leader of it is just very odd, pops out in odd places, it's very like rude to the main character, and you just kind of feel like something is off. And in my opinion, it was really good. There was like a insta love part though, which was like, you know, pretty dumb. Like 2 different characters had pretty much insta love. Without that part, without the insta love part, I really liked the rest of the story. I thought it was a freaky, like scary ghost story. And I really liked the concept of it. It was really short. It was probably under 300 pages or maybe a little bit more. And so it flew by really quickly, and I was like on the edge of my seat the whole time. I was really enjoying it. I would recommend it. I mean, everybody on Goodreads gave it like 2-ish stars, and I gave it like 4 stars. I actually really liked it, except for the insta love parts. Then I read The Boy Most Likely To by Huntley Fitzpatrick. This is the author of The Boy Next Door, which I thought this was like The Boy Next Door retold, but it's actually not. It is 2 characters from The Boy Next Door, and this is their story after The Boy Next Door. So it is, The Boy Next Door was about a girl who lived next to this family that had like a lot of children in it. So this book, The Boy Most Likely To, is about one of the sisters in that family and their childhood friend, and about how like they want to be together and how they like each other and such. But you know, there's always drama and conflict and such in these books, and it was just okay to me. I gave it 3 stars. I just didn't really like the conflict, and it was told like alternating chapters in the girl's point of view and the boys, but it was mostly the boy. Like, his sections were a lot longer. You got to know way more about him. The girl had like no depth, no problems, no nothing. She was just kind of there to be another problem for the boy and his problem that happened in this book. And it was just very long. Like, it was like a 400-ish page contemporary, which is a very long contemporary. Like, contemporaries, only so much can happen, and this was just a lot of like angst, oh no, angst, oh no, angst, oh no, all, you know, over and over and over again because it was so long. And so, I mean, it was okay. I wouldn't really recommend it, but like if you really liked the characters from The Boy Next Door, then I would suggest to continue with it and read on with the series. It doesn't really talk about the main characters from The Boy Next Door. They're in there like 3 scenes, you know, it's kind of in the background, and they say like a few lines and such. So it was like its own completely different story, and it was okay. I read License to Spill. It was The Pretenders #2 by Lizzie Harris. This is the author of the Click series, and I read this first book in this series probably 2 years ago, and so I didn't remember anything about it, and I had to like, because I started this book and I was like, wait, what? And so I had to like Google the first book and look up the whole like plot synopsis of what happened, and I remember now, like after I read it, it was about 5 kids who are like these notorious secrets of like high school. They're like freshmen, and they all have like journals, and they all like have horrible secrets and such. But the first book like ended on a cliffhanger, and you didn't know like how the secrets ended. And this book is just like a continuation with it, but like new secrets and like the old secret, and it's just really dumb. It's very like petty 6th grade, or you know, like 9th grade drama. Like, there's no drama when you're in 9th grade, I'm sorry. Like, it's all like fake gossipy drama, and like I eat it up though. Like, it's very entertaining, and I fly through those type of books, but they really have no depth and no meaning or anything like that. They are just a quick read that really means nothing, but you enjoy. So I gave it like 3 stars. Like, it's not great literature, but it was an enjoying, funny read that I want to read the 3rd book. It's not a huge priority or anything like that, but I just want to know what happens with all these secrets and lies and such with these 9th graders and their drama, and I just need to know what happens. And I read Assassin's Heart by Sarah Allers. This was about a family in, I believe it was like Italy or pretend Italy or such, and it's basically like mob families. Like, so there's a bunch of different like mob families, and this girl is part of this assassin mob family, and she though is the worst assassin I have ever read about. Like, she makes being an assassin to sound like she didn't know what she was doing, and she was supposed to be like a really high, cool assassin. She was like Selena from Throne of Glass before Selena was an assassin. Like, you know, training to be one, not an actual assassin. So, like, there's just parts in this book, and, like, she was like, oh, I didn't realize my knife got stolen, or, like, oh, I didn't realize there was a fire, or, like, oh, and I was just like, how do you not, like, you're supposed to be, like, this world-known, awesome assassin, like, how do you not notice these things? Like, okay, I understand maybe once or twice that happened to Selena, like, you know, she got knocked out or blah, blah, blah. But this was like this girl in this book, everything she did, she was like, oh, I got poisoned. Oh, I lost my weapon. Oh, I got, like, knocked out. I was like, you are the worst assassin I have ever read about. So, she's terrible at her job. But anyway, so she's an assassin in this family, and she's in love with this other assassin from a different family. So it's kind of like Romeo and Juliet, you know, retold. And her family all gets murdered, which she did not notice because she was asleep, because she's the world's worst assassin. She did not hear any of this, you know. But her whole family gets, like, murdered. The person who murders her family is the family that the boy she likes is part of. So she makes this big old scheme to, like, you know, avenge her family and kill that family, but she still loves him, and oh no. And then, of course, she meets another boy halfway through because love triangles, and that's it. That's basically what this book was. And it's a series, and I don't care. I don't think I'll read the next one. Like, maybe if I really have nothing to read, I'll pick it up from the library. But I really have no interest, and I'm gonna spoil the end. Okay, I'm spoiling it right now, so if you don't want to know, just, like, click ahead. When I'm holding up this Kindle is when my next book is, okay? So, the ending, okay? So she's fighting the assassin's family, and she and this boy that she meets halfway through the book, they're, like, so they've known each other, like, 3 days or whatever, right? But he's like, oh, I'm gonna help you beat up this assassin family because, like, I love you and stuff. And it's like, of course he does, you know? And so they are in this war, like, beating up this family, and they both get killed because she's the worst assassin ever. So she and this guy she, like, dragged along. He was, like, training to be an assassin, but they both get killed, and the goddess of her family is, like, this tree that comes alive and is like, oh wow, you have honored me forever and you have stuck to my side unlike your family, but your family died, so that's not really their fault anyway. So the tree goddess or whatever is like, I can bring you back to life because you have avenged, like, your family's name. And she's like, cool. And then the tree lady's like, I can bring one other person you love back to life. Her whole family was murdered. Her mother was murdered. Her cousins, her dad, her brothers. Everyone she said she loved was murdered. And the goddess said she could bring one person back to life. And she's like, I think I'll bring back that guy I knew for 3 days that I love. And the tree goddess is like, why? I can bring back anybody you love. Like, your family. She's like, nah, I'm gonna go with that guy I've known for 3 days because we love each other. And I was just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Okay, I think I'm done ranting, but I was just so mad. I was like, of course you picked the guy you've known for 3 days, but your whole family got murdered, and you could have brought one of them back to be with you. And I'm pretty sure they would have been happy to be with you because they loved you. But you know, cool. Bring back the guy. Okay, end of rant. Cool. Next. Yay. I read The Glittering Court by Rochelle Mead. It's about a girl in, like, so it's supposed to be like a fantasy, I guess, and it's not a fantasy at all. It's like a contemporary, the Venice book, like how it takes place in, like, old age Venice and, like, all the dresses and blah blah blah. It's like the selection, all that type. Yeah. It's like that. It's not a fantasy at all. It is a contemporary, like, Yeah. So it's just about this girl. She's rich. She can't like control her life at all. Everything she does is like, you know, what her family tells her to do. And this guy comes along and he is looking for like young maidens to take to this thing called the Glittering Court, and they train you to be a maiden, and it's like people who were like maids and like such like that. Train them to be maidens, and then they sell them off to to marry rich people, and then they make money. This Glittering Court people does. So this girl's maid is like interviewed to be in it, and she takes the place as her maid instead. Like she tells her maid to like go be free and all that, and that she'll take her place because she wants to not be like captive in her life anymore. So she goes and she joins the Glittering Court, and she pretends she was a maid and that like she doesn't know things like how to eat properly and like dance and play the violin and stuff like that, but she already knows how to do everything because she is a lady and she's learned everything. So she pretends to be like super bad at stuff to make friends, and then like, you know, halfway through the competition she's like, oh wait, I know everything, so she can be like top of the class and win, because you win like different status titles, like you're platinum if you're the best, and gold and silver and whatever, but it was like gemstones, but I don't remember. But yeah, so that's what that was. It was enjoyable. It was okay. I like age and time of like the fancy dresses and learning to be ladies and such, even though it's like not what happens anymore, but I kind of like that stuff. And that's all the book basically is. I think it's a series. I might read the next one, but like the ending was very, like the last like fourth of the book was like, what? And it just kind of like was weird and just kind of insta-lovey, and stuff just happened that I was like, what? And everything just happened really, really, really fast. And it was like, okay. So I think it's a series. I kind of want to know what happens next, but also I don't care. We'll see. Finally, this month I read The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. This one was so good. This was probably the best book I read in June. And it was about a girl who, when she is a freshman in high school, she gets raped by her brother's friend. And she never tells anyone because he says that no one will believe her and that he will kill her if she tells anyone. And she's scared. She's young. She's 14. And she believes him. She believes no one will believe her. She believes he would actually hurt her. Doesn't tell anyone, and it just completely affects her life. So it goes through her freshman year, sophomore year, junior, and senior, and how this rape has made her the way she is and how it's affected her. And it's just such a good book. It made me cry so many times. I was reading it on the airplane to Disney, and I just felt so emotional and sad because it's just so heartbreaking. And she had like a super good friend in the book, and I just wish she had like told her friend her problems, because she just kind of blew off her friend, and just she got into smoking and drinking, and she just like had sex with guys so she wouldn't like feel anything anymore, to show that like that rape wasn't like her giving up. She just like gave herself to like anybody, and it was just very sad. Just very heartbreaking. This went through, so it went all through all the years, and it just shows like she was very innocent like as a freshman, and then as a senior she's now very broken and very like doesn't have very many friends, doesn't really believe in school anymore, doesn't believe, and like, you know, her family relationship used to be very good, now it's very bad, and it's just a very good book. I think I'm going to buy it because I borrowed it from the library on my Kindle. I think I'm going to go out and purchase it because it's one I think I would want to reread, and it's just one of those like heartbreaking, just makes you feel stories like Speak and such. It's kind of like Speak because, you know, it's the same type of story, but this one is throughout 4 years of her life and how like affected she was, and it's just very good, very sad. I highly recommend it. So yeah guys, those are the books I read in June. What are some books you read lately? You should let me know below so I can read more books. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys!